Hi, Warren here. Welcome back. This isn't a video I expected to make, or planned to in reality. My roaster has failed, and I'm currently waiting on the parts. So the first time in a while, I can't roast. And that's actually forced me to stop and look back at what I've been doing. Not the individual roasts, but what has actually held up across all of them. Up to now, everything in this project has been very hands-on. Roast, taste, adjust, repeat. You're always moving forward. There's always another roast to do. Another small change to try. But when that stops, you start to see things a bit differently. At this stage, I was still thinking in quite simple terms that if I did the right thing during the roast, I'd get the right results in the cup. And that seems reasonable at the start, but it turns out it's not quite how it works. At the start, I thought the job was to spot the key moments and respond to them. But more and more, it feels like roasting is really about following a process, not chasing one event. First crack, temperature, trying to follow what I thought was the right way to do it. You read it, you watch it, and it all sounds quite clear. Listen for this, wait for that, then stop. And I assumed that if I followed that closely enough, the results would line up. But after enough roasts, some of those things didn't hold as well as I expected. And other things, which I didn't really pay attention to at the start, started to matter more. The biggest one for me has been consistency. Not getting a perfect roast, but getting something repeatable, something you can come back to. Because once that's there, you can actually start to understand what's changing. A few things caught me off guard. First, how unreliable first crack can be. Sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's not there at all, or it's masked by the machine. And if you're relying on that one moment, it can throw everything off. Second, how misleading appearances can be. You can have two roasts that look very similar and they behave completely differently in the cup. That took a while to accept because visually they look right, but the result says otherwise. And then the big one, how easy it is to mix up roasting and brewing. If something tastes off, it's very natural to assume the roast is wrong. I did that a lot, but in a few cases, the roast was fine. It was how I was brewing it that needed to change. If I was starting again, I wouldn't try to control everything. I'd focus on keeping things stable first, same batch size, and the same general approach, and let patterns emerge. I'd also change less. There were times where I reacted too quickly. One result, and I'd make a big adjustment. Looking back, that probably slowed things down. There are still things I'm not clear on. One of them is where the upper boundary sits. You can push development further, and you can get more body, more presence, but only up to a point. After that, it starts to feel heavier, sometimes flatter, and that line isn't obvious during the roast. You only really see it afterwards. So that's where I am right now at the moment. The roaster isn't running, but the learning hasn't stopped. If anything, this pause has made a few things clearer. And when I do get back roasting, I think I'll approach it slightly differently. Just a bit more measured, a bit less reactive, and see what holds up. And as always, one roast at a time.